Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to have lots of tips on how to get good contrast and be a little bit braver with capturing darker values in graphite. So starting things off here, I'm working on the sky. I'm using graphite powder and a round soft tool, and you can see that this is creating a really nice smooth blend. There are going to be variations that I'm going to capture later on, but first of all I just want to get the white of the paper covered. However, one thing here, if any of the clouds in any sky that we're drawing are particularly bright, then I would recommend to allow the white of the paper to show through. I am going to be using my erasers later on, but if there was any particularly bright highlights, it's much easier to allow the white of the paper there to be visible. Now, when I am building my layers, I want to be enhancing my darker values in stages. Graphite powder can only go so dark, so we do need to be aware of this initial contrast not going to be as strong as it is once we work with the pencils. However, again, this is going to depend on the sky that we're drawing. If the sky is more of a mid-tone, it doesn't have any darker colours, any stormy clouds for example, then we might not need to use our pencils at all. The amount of blend that we're using here is going to massively help with the effect of the sky. The sky in this situation, I wanted to be nice and soft, and there wasn't any obvious cloud cover. It was more the longer, narrower clouds rather than the larger, fluffier clouds. The techniques that I would be using are very similar for those clouds. You would want to work with more circular movements, whereas here I am moving this more horizontally, left to right. So how we move these applicators is going to massively affect the type of cloud and sky that we are drawing. And this is very similar to working with pencils. The way that we use the pencils and hold the pencils, the amount of pressure that's applied, is something here that massively affects the technique and therefore the effect we create. So no matter what tool, what medium I'm working in, how I'm using those applicators, brushes or pencils is a very important stage when drawing realism. Once I was happy with the sky, then I started working with the lighter clouds. The first thing I've done here is then used a putty eraser to simply lift some of that graphite powder, and then I'm coming in with a smaller sponge applicator to soften my edges. The amount of softening that you would need and blending techniques is going to vary from each individual sky that you're drawing. If the clouds are more obvious and they have more definition, then you wouldn't necessarily need to soften as much as I am. So these techniques need to be adjusted because it is going to be very individual to each project. In some cases, this is just about hinting at a very lighter mid-tone rather than a bright highlight. I want to make sure that I've got the range of values here correct, and the importance of values with any medium, especially graphite because we don't have any colour. It's crucial, and it's this that helps to make that artwork more three-dimensional. So the importance of the darker values and being brave enough to go dark enough is something that I'm going to explain more here. So I'm still using my round soft tool with my graphite powder, and I'm now moving in a vertical way so that I can create more of the blades of grass. But first of all, it's all about a good base foundation. I don't want to jump straight into my pencils here because I'm going to end up with grass that looks very wiry. I still want to capture the first level of softness. This is something that I do speak about in my real-time versions of these tutorials. Because they're recorded with a voiceover while I draw, I'm able to explain everything in the moment. And this base foundation, it's not as dark as what it's going to be when I'm finished with my pencils, but it's exactly where it needs to be before I move on to this next phase. So when using the graphite pencils, this is where I'm very conscious of how thick my pencil strokes need to be. If I have a lot of fine, wiry looking pencil strokes, then the grass is going to take on a different texture. This is something that's really important to establish though, because grass, just like fur, is going to have a lot of change and variation. Sometimes they might look a little bit wiry if the grass is drier. If the grass is more clumped together, the strokes need to be a little bit thicker. I want to be making sure as well that I'm not trying to draw every single blade of grass in that reference photo. That level of detail is only possible if I'm working on a much bigger scale. Being that this was only an 8x12 size, I need to be aware and very realistic with what I can include. That doesn't mean I can cut corners and rush, because this size enables a very good level of detail to be captured, but I need to make sure that I'm not forcing it. So my priority here, as you can see, is to get a variation of the length of the grass, the direction, the way that it's slightly changed on that diagonal. Some are more upright, some are slanted, and then that variation on the thickness. If I get those three things right, then I don't have to worry about drawing every single blade of grass. So one of my biggest tips when trying to build your confidence with working with darker values of graphite is to build your values in stages. This takes away quite a lot of the pressure, because if we do realise that we've gone too dark, which very rarely happens, but if we do realise that, then it's something that we've done in stages, and we're more likely to notice those kinds of issues earlier on and prevent ourselves from overworking an area. When I'm working with a gradual layering process, each layer that I add, I take that little time before to think, okay, does this actually need to be darker? If the answer is yes, I know that I can add another layer. Whereas if I take more of the approach of just one dark pencil from the very first layer, because it looks very dark, and block that in with heavy pressure, then I'm already far more committed in that darker value, and it's then the equivalent of 5 or 6 layers later on if I was to build that up in stages. When working with this kind of approach, that on its own can be a really good way of mentally breaking down that fear of going too dark with those values. Because I completely understand that overwhelming feeling of what if we go too dark and I can't lighten it back up. With graphite, we don't have white pencils that we put back over a darker layer, such as when we work with pastels. So we do need to be a little bit more aware of the layering process that we're using. However, allowing that fear of going too dark to prevent us from using dark values really does have a negative impact with the amount of realism that we create. Taking that moment to be brave, adding one extra layer that's not that much darker than the layer before, and by us allowing ourselves to build it up in stages, just means then that that fear becomes more manageable to overcome. And I've got so many tutorials here on YouTube, and then my real-time step-by-step tutorials that show how to build up these very dark layers of graphite, but show the techniques that we can use with our erasers to pull those highlights back over the top. You can see here that when I'm using the putty, I am able to pull a lot of this graphite off, and this is perfect for a soft mid-tone highlight. When I'm trying to then capture more of a stronger highlight, I can switch to a different eraser. I can use maybe a Tombow mono eraser or a battery eraser that allows me to use a bit more firmer pressure to remove that graphite more easily. Because one thing with using the putty here is if I use excessive pressure, that obviously then gets squashed and the end of the putty becomes broader. It might then remove too much graphite. So these times, this is where we want to adjust what erasers we're using depending on the type of highlight that we need. And as always here, I'm considering my softness at each layer. So if I create a highlight, it might be too harsh because I need to remove that graphite first, but then I will always go back and soften it if required, because I don't want there to be a very rigid looking highlight if there should be more softness captured, which again is going to be very unique to each photo. The midsection of this grass here, it did have a softness to it. The lower part of the grass was slightly out of focus. So if I had lots of fine detailing, like the top section of grass, then this would pull focus to the lower edge of the drawing. And I obviously want my focus here to be on the stag and that very hinting of that detailed grass. So when I'm starting to work with this level of the advanced layering process, here I want to make sure that everything is taken into account. How bright my highlights need to be, how dark the values need to be, and here I felt like I needed to darken it even more, so I would always make those adjustments before I move on. it's crucial to have good contrast, and once I'm at this stage in the layering process, it doesn't feel as overwhelming to go darker. The scariest part is when we're working with our lighter mid-tone base, and it's at that point where we know our gut is probably telling us we need to go darker, but we're frightened of making a mistake. But you can imagine that if I didn't have this grass as dark as what I've currently got, then this silhouette drawing would not have that type of feel that I'm going for with the dramatic lighting. Because I wanted a step-by-step real-time tutorial, which is all linked in the description below if you're interested in those, that primarily focused on a more simplistic approach to building darker layers without that worry of ruining detail. And this is why I chose a silhouette subject. Because the bulk of that fear and anxiety when using darker layers of graphite is that we're worried about covering up or ruining the detail that we've already put in. However, that on its own can be a problem because it's very common that too much detail can get added too early on in the layering process. This base foundation that I'm currently working on, you can see that it's nowhere near as dark as what I want the silhouette to be. But as always, like the entire theme of this tutorial, it's all about gradual layers. I'm trying to get a fairly smooth looking layer. I don't want there to be lots of scribble marks, but I am looking to complete this in maybe 5 or 6 layers, maybe more. I don't want to be working with one layer with my darkest graphite pencil and potentially miss out on some depth. The other thing as well is using one pencil with heavy pressure and using something like a 9B is going to create more graphite shine. So building my layers more in gradual stages here just helps to reduce that. When it came to drawing the antlers, I moved my pencil far slower. I took a little bit more time closer to the edges to make sure that I didn't go outside of my lines. This is really important because I didn't want to lose the shape of the antlers. However, that being said, every antler on each of the stags is going to be different. So I don't have to get this completely perfect, but I do want to get it as close as I can. When working with something like this, I also like to visualize what part of the antler is behind each of the other sections, because then it makes it a bit easier for me to understand what I'm drawing. If I start to just get a bit obsessed and focused on the shapes without any real consideration to where that's attached, then I find that that's more likely to then make us rush through that layering process. I really want to try to make sure that these parts of the drawings, because they are what makes this animal so iconic, that I get this right. A key part of my real-time tutorials is that I like to explain every aspect of the techniques that I'm using as thoroughly as I can. When I used this battery eraser, it did require a lot of precision to make sure that I had this very bright but precisely placed highlight, because this is going to help add a lot of shaping and depth to the antlers. Making sure that I'm using the eraser correctly, but more importantly that I had the layers underneath dark enough first, is such an important part of this process. It isn't just about using an eraser here for a highlight, because if there's not enough graphite in place for it to remove, then that highlight is never going to look bright enough. There are other things here as well that impact that. If I had a much darker sky, then the antlers aren't going to stand out as much because the values are too similar. But if I had a darker sky, these highlights on the antlers that I've just added would have appeared brighter. So there is a little bit of, again, a balancing act, but I knew for my drawing here, I wanted the stag silhouette to be that top main priority of the subject and what kept that focus on this drawing. So if I had a darker sky, the silhouette might not stand out as much. These are all things that we need to be aware of when we are planning our drawings. And now I'm on to the final touches here, this very last layer, putting in the highlights on the grass. You can see that despite how dark these layers of graphite are, with the right technique I'm able to remove pretty much all of that and expose that brighter paper colour. This is why the layering process is so important. It is absolutely crucial, and not only that, but as I've said throughout this video, it helps to ease that worry about going too dark and not being able to lighten it. So I do hope this video has been useful. If it was, I'd be very grateful if you could give it a like and a thumbs up. It makes a huge difference to my channel. I do also upload a couple of videos to YouTube every week, so if you would like to get notified of that content, then don't forget to hit the subscribe and the bell button. If you've got any art related questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. I'm always happy to help if I can. And if you would like to draw along to the real-time version of this tutorial, I'll link all of the information to that in the description below. And I'm going to be uploading another video next week, but as always, thank you so much for watching.